Hey, fellow gamers, it's Cozy Mel, and I'm here with another Palia video for you. And this one is called Don't Switch to Palia Until You See This Video. So I hope you're watching this just as you begin to play or before you begin to play even, so that you can start out right. I'm going to give you 10 kind of big long tips and tricks, but I will try to do it as quickly as possible. So to that end, let's get started. Okay, the number one tip has to do with your home. Please don't chop down all of your trees and don't mine all of your rocks. Do what you have to do the quests for Hodari at the beginning, but you can certainly leave some trees and rocks on your property. They don't come back. Out in the world of Palia, if you leave this farm and go out into the world, you can chop down trees and mine rocks and they will come back. Here on your plot, they do not. And later in the game, you'll be able to get seeds from chopping trees, and you can plant seeds and new trees will grow. The trees will grow to be this size that you see right in front of me, okay? So they will never be bushes and they will never be tiny. So any bushes and rocks and tiny trees that you get rid of will be gone forever. So you might just want to think about keeping a few. Also, when you are on your plot and working, there are so many gardening tips. And I have a set of 3 videos on YouTube on Melody Rose Games. And these 3 videos are really helpful about making money gardening. So gardening, in the end, you will have 9 plots. Right now on this low level character, I only have 4. So they go up in price for each plot that you get. But gardening is so important for making income, especially for making passive income and for making food that you can eat for focus. Focus is what will be in the bar at the top left-hand corner of your screen. When you have focus, you can see I don't have any right now, but I can eat some food by pushing number 5, because number 5 on my bar is food, and then right clicking. And that gave me some focus. I just earned 150 focus from doing that, eating that meal. So it's important to know you do not have to have focus. You never have to have that resource. You don't need any resource in this game to keep you from dying. You will not die. You will not drop dead in the middle of the night and lose all your stuff. Okay? So you can play without it. But even from the very beginning of the game, if you have 1 bite of food in you and a little bit of focus on your bar and you go out and mine a rock, you're going to get, say, 25% more experience than you would get if you don't eat some food. And when you first start out, you can eat mushrooms raw right out of the field when you pick them and get 5 focus for each one, which isn't very much, but you will really quickly learn how to make a fire and cook. And you can cook the mushrooms. 3 of them will give you 50 focus after that. So there's no reason not to try to have focus, but please don't kill yourself over it, because you can play without it until you start cooking. So it's not something that's immediate, but on your plot while you're still at home, there are mushrooms. You can probably find 8 or 9 or 10 mushrooms on your plot. So what I would do is pick those and save them until it's time to learn to cook, because you will need them for learning to cook, and then you will eat them after that. In the meantime, you can play without focus. It's not a big deal at all. And like I said, to learn to garden, there's so much about gardening that you really want to watch my gardening series. And I won't take the time to go over all of that in this tips and tricks video, but there is, oh, so much. Okay, so my second tip is you will have 8 skills and you will want to work on all of your skills. And that's just natural. These are your 8 skills right down here on your UI, okay? So when you pull up your UI or your character sheet, however you do that on Switch, You will have 8 skills down here that you can start increasing, and it's natural to want to do them all, and I encourage you to do them all. And the way you get better at each one is to go do it. If you want a higher cooking level, cook. If you want a higher fishing level, go fishing. You don't even have to have bait. You don't even have to have worms at first. You just do it. Okay, so what I will tell you is that when you meet Ashura in the very beginning, he's going to give you an axe to cut wood with. Okay, that's Ashura. See his little face down there. You will meet Hodari second, and he will be on your plot. Hodari is going to be your mining instructor. He will give you a mining pick. Badru is going to come to your plot eventually. He is your gardening instructor and he will be teaching you gardening. He will give you, I think, a makeshift hoe and watering can at the beginning. They are really crappy and you'll want to upgrade those as fast as you can. Your fishing instructor is ENR. He has his own little lake outside of the main town of Kilima, and he has a dock that he stands on 21 hours a day. He goes to his cave and goes to bed from midnight to 3 a.m. The rest of the time he's on his dock. So it's easy to find him, learn about fishing, and increase your fishing skill. Do what he says. Your cooking teacher is Reth. See that little picture? That's Reth, and he is in the bar where there's a big barrel out front of the bar. He is in there during the day, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. ish, and you can talk to him, and he will be the person that will help you right away with learning to make a campfire and cooking mushrooms. And you will cook a lot of mushrooms before you learn to cook some meat and some fish over the same fire. And then after you do that for a while, you will learn to make a stove and cook on a stove. But Reth will take you through all of that. Bug catching is Ani. Ani will be your bug catching instructor and will sell you the upgrades that you need as you get better and better at catching all the bugs. And you may wonder why, but it'll become clear to you as you're playing why you need bugs. um, Hassan is the hunting instructor. He will send you a bow in the mail. You'll open up your mailbox when you talk to Ani the first time. You open your mailbox and you will have mail from Hassan, and he will send you in the mail a bow, some arrows, and a recipe for making your own arrows. And these are makeshift arrows and they're pieces of crap, but you have to use them until you get a little bit better. So you have to have 2 shots to kill a surneck deer and 1 shot to kill a chapa in Kilima with these makeshift arrows. So you will want to make some and use some. You'll use regular logs, plain sapwood logs, and plain flint to make them. So it's not expensive. You can get that from chopping rocks and trees and make them. And I go with 100 at a time. You can have 100 in a stack. And so I make 100 and take them with me everywhere I go. I love to hunt. So that's how you'll do the hunting. And then your furniture instructor is Tish, and Tish will be helping you make furniture, and it's really self-explanatory. And for the most part, you don't have to hunt for recipes. As you will purchase a recipe from her, or she'll give you one at first, whatever. And when you make a log cabin chair, you will get a free recipe for the next log cabin item. You get inspired, and you click on something that you see a shadow of, and that'll be the next thing that you learn. And that happens until you learn the entire group. And there are like 10 different groupings of furniture that you'll go through while you're leveling up. So that covers your skill levels. And my personal advice is that I spend 10% of my time trying to do well with cooking, getting bugs, and making furniture, and then fishing to some extent too. But I fish a little bit more than those other 3 right at first. And about 90% of my time is spent mining, gardening, foraging, and hunting. And if I don't watch myself, I'll do nothing but hunting, and that's not good for you for passive income when the time comes. But anyway, there you go. That's everything you need to know about that. I will tell you, these teachers, you can see their faces here, but when you look at the map the first time, you won't be able to see their faces. They will be a blank space, a blank person walking around. And when you meet them, Then you will get their face and their name. After that, every time you pull your map up, you can easily find the person you want to go talk to. Okay? So those are the first couple of really big tips. And then the next thing that you probably want to uh, work on just a little bit is upgrading your bag. And I really encourage this. I have another video that you can watch, and it is called 500 Gold in 15 Minutes. And it is what you can do in the first part of the game. As soon as you have your axe for cutting wood, your pickaxe for mining rocks and gems and things, and your bow that you get in the mail, your fishing rod that you get in the mail, these things, once you have these basic makeshift tools, you can go over and you can go outside of your house and do just 15 minutes of a route, and I show it to you in that video, 500 gold in 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it is. And you will be able to easily make 500 to 1,000 gold in those 15 minutes if you sell everything that you get. I would encourage you in a lot of cases to save some of each thing that you get, but you don't have to right away. You can go ahead and sell it all right away if you want to. And then you would come here to Kilima. This is downtown Kilima. And you would go into this store. This is Zeki's store. And you can go to Zeki's cash register and you can open it up and sell everything that you want to out of your bag if you didn't sell it at home through your box, okay? But then you want to buy one thing and you can find the cheapest thing that he has and just buy one. And it might cost, 16 gold for one morel mushroom, but buy one. And you want to do that every IRL, every in real life day. So every real 24 hours, buy one cheap thing from this register. Then you will get a coin in the mail, a lucky coin. You put the lucky coin in this box, and when you do, you will get a little package and you open it up, and sometimes it will have 5 packages of seeds to grow in your garden. Sometimes it'll have oil or vinegar, butter, sugar, flour, things you need to cook. Sometimes, it'll have uh, things that are rare and hard to find until late in the game, like possibly even a blueberry seed. So it's just important to do that once a day. This is where you upgrade your backpack. And I tell you all about it in the other video. But I'm far enough along that it costs a lot for me to upgrade. But for you, the first upgrade is 500 gold. And I would do that as soon as I had 500 gold if it was up to me. Okay? So those are the first 4 tips for kind of getting going. And then another item is actually uh, to do with later on, once you have started leveling up and doing things through your teachers and instructors, you will begin to get better tools. Your makeshift tools will never break, and you don't have to sharpen them. But as time goes by, this guy right here is Ashura, for example. He might get a hold of you or have a yellow thing above his head and have something new that he wants to sell to you. And it'll be something that maybe can help you. So for 250 gold, you can see right here, standard axe recipe. That's the second thing. The first thing he'll sell you is the sawmill. You need that sawmill or you won't be able to do the rest of the things you need to do. So that 100 gold, get that sawmill. Once you do, and you get it made and you set it up, then you will get that money back in the mail, okay? So don't worry about that 100 gold. You will get it back in the mail as an investment in the town. So that was just the tip that I want to tell you about as you start to level up. and you can buy things like the sawmill and the kiln for making copper bricks and things. You will get 100 gold back for each of those things once you place them. And you can place 5 machines on your plot. So once you have placed 5 machines on your plot, and this will take a while before you get that done, then you have to purchase permission to place another one. And that comes from the cash register here in City Hall. And it's called a crafting license. And so it's like $7.50 for the first one, which isn't too bad. And that is something that you will purchase when you want to put down another manufacturing machine and you have already used your 5 free ones. Okay. And the other thing about your upgraded tools is that they will take damage. So once you have a standard axe and a standard pick and a standard hoe and a standard watering can, they will take damage and you will have to repair them. You can get a repair anvil for your house. You will get that recipe from Hodari as time goes on. And then you will have to make repair kits and use those repair kits to repair everything. But once you start having money in your pocket all the time, you're just going to come here and you'll come to the anvil and push F and hit repair for 80 gold. For me this time, it repaired everything I have, and it's way worth it to me rather than making repair kits. But at the beginning, when you're poor, you will want to probably make your repair kits. But okay, so we have gone through some of those things. Now, the other thing that we want to go back to here in number 5, just for a minute, is your focus. Once you do learn how to make food and eat food so that you have focus, then you're going to have 2 places where you can donate what is called renown. Now, renown is this resource right here. Okay, so I currently have 1,000 renown, and that's the cap. That is the top amount that you can carry or have at any one time. So any renown that I earn now because I have upgraded one of my skills, or I have learned something new, or I complete a quest for a villager or an NPC, you receive renown, 5 or 10 or 15 renown at a time for these things. And if I'm already at 1,000, that means all the renown that I've been getting since I got to 1,000 has been thrown away and wasted because I did not check. I check, oh, at least once every few days, I check my renown, but I have been so busy, I forgot. So I don't know how much renown I lost, but this is just a harsh reminder for you. Keep an eye on your renown. At first, you might only have 200 renown or something. Don't worry about it, you know. But when you start getting to 5, 6, 700 renown, you want to come back where you were born. This is the Phoenix statue where you were born, where you first arrived in the world. You can come back here and you can go up to the Phoenix statue and push whatever button the switch guy tells you to push, and you will offer 100 renown to him. And that increased my experience bonus to 30%. So every time I eat food from now on, and then I go do some gardening or I go do some mining, I'm going to get 30% more experience than I was getting. Now, the chest that is here in front of the bird right now, that's because I have done some things out in the world to earn this wallpaper. So he has just given me a gift of wallpaper. And that happens naturally on its own. You don't have to worry about it. You will just naturally be doing things where you will end up earning that wallpaper. Now, other than this shrine, this is the human shrine where you were born. There is another shrine, and it is the Majiri shrine, and they worship the dragon. So the dragon, or Magi, is in on the other side of the map from here. So the other side of your housing plot. So I'll show you that on the map. Right here on the map, we are at Phoenix Falls where we were born, and that's where we just went and donated 100 renown. So the other place is right over here, Maggie's Hollow to the east, okay? And here's our home. Circle, circle. See it? This is our home. You can leave your home and go right and donate at Phoenix Falls. You can leave your home and go left and donate at Maggie's Hollow. And when you donate 100 here, it's going to make your focus food line longer. So when you first start out, it might only hold 200. So when you eat food that has 250 focus, you lose 50 of it. But at first, your food is only going to have 50 focus, maybe 100 focus at the most. So you don't have to worry about losing it. But after a little bit, you're going to want a longer line so that you can eat the higher quality food and get more focus. Okay, so that's where you take care of that issue. Keep an eye on your renown so that you know when you get close to 1,000 that it's time to go spend some. The only other thing you spend renown on is to increase the amount of land on your plot that you can build on, and I do not recommend it early in the game. Just do it later. Okay, whenever you'll see this in my other videos, but whenever you see a rock like this is copper. So you just hit R, mouse over the pickaxe. Get out your pickaxe and then go ahead, break the rock, and you'll pick up copper and stone. You'll always get free rocks. And eventually, you will have a machine on your farm that turns rocks into glass and glass into light bulbs. And you need that for light fixtures. So that's just one of those things when I'm walking around. If I see a choppa, I shoot it. If I see copper, I mine it. It's just that kind of thing. Okay, so now we have gone through 6 things, I think, and that was all the way up through donating for your focus bar. And the other thing that we need to still talk about is the things that you can get by upgrading your skills, because sometimes you're level 1 and you get to level 2. And then you will get a note in the mailbox from Halcyon that says, okay, you've got to level 2 in hunting. I can give you a recipe for a new arrow that works better. Or it might be level 2 or 3, and you might get a new bow recipe. So you will pay him 250 gold or whatever it is, and you will have a new bow recipe, and you could go home to your workbench and create the new bow or the new arrows, whatever it is you so decide to do. But there are some other things from your teacher that you might not need, at least not real early in the game. And those kind of things are something that maybe helps you find higher quality ore nodes, something that helps you hunt a higher quality rare bug, something that helps you hunt a higher quality rare surnut deer. Um, those things are great later in the game. I wouldn't waste my money on them early in the game. I would skip that. Why spend $2,000 on it when it's really, you're still just learning and you have so many other recipes to purchase from all 8 of your teachers that you might not want those things. But there is 1 or 2 things from ENR that I think are really important, and ENR is your fishing instructor. When you get to fishing a lot, you're fishing with a bare hook with nothing on it. And that's fine. You can catch something in every kind of water that has a fishing hole marker by it with a bare hook and no bait on it, okay? But you might get some bait as a present. Regular plain worms. You might get them out of the lucky box at Zeki's store. You might get them as a reward for completing a quest. You might get them as a reward for increasing your fishing level or something like that, okay? So you can get worms for free. You can also purchase some worms from Zeki's store. They're not exactly cheap. I think they're 10 gold each. I think it's 5 worms for 50 gold. But if you seriously think you can't live without some worms, you can spend some of your gold at Zeki's store on worms. But eventually, you are going to get to the point where you are working with ENR on becoming a better fisherman, and you will finally get to purchase this. It's my turn to buy it now. I have finally worked up to level 3 in fishing. So now I can buy the recipe, or level 5 in fishing. I can buy the recipe for the worm farm, and I'm excited to have it. So I purchased that recipe. When I go home, I can build it at my building station, at my workbench. Once I build it, I can put mushrooms in it. I can, there's all kinds of food or whatever that you can put in the worm farm. And then you go to sleep for the night. The next day, you go back to it, and you'll have worms and fertilizer. So you'll have fertilizer for your garden for free, and you will have worms for free. And you pick mushrooms for free. So that's why I put mushrooms in. But that's one of the few things, that worm farm and the glow worm farm, which you will get. These are better worms, and you'll get this at level 7. Those two things are crucial. I just can't imagine getting through the game without them. So that's one thing that you would want to go ahead and invest your money in. And then, other than that, when you go fishing, sometimes you're going to see little circles like that one right there in the water. And that is a circle where there is a star quality fish. So you fish there, and if you catch the fish, it'll be star quality. So if the fish is worth 25 and you get it in star quality, it might be worth 40. So, it's worth it. So I always fish in those holes. And also, you might catch a chest, a water soaked or waterlogged chest. And if you do, then you will be able to receive what they call makeshift furniture. And it might seem funny and weird at first, but it's pretty fun stuff to have. So just put it on your home plot, put it in your tent, put it out in the grass. It doesn't matter, but save it up because you'll use it later. Or you can just put it in your trunk. It doesn't count as an item in your trunk, it doesn't take up space. So you can just go ahead and do that. Okay, so we talked about who all of your teachers are, and we talked about the worm farm, and we should talk about your mining resources and your wood. In Kilima, where we are right now, you can get clay, you can get copper, you can get rocks, and as an RNG item, every once in a while, when you mine for copper, you will get a piece of silver. Okay? So those are the things you get mining in Kilima. When you chop trees in Kilima, you get sap wood. It's called sap wood. It's the basic wood. So you just mouse over your tool, get your tool out, chop down a tree, and you will get sapwood and plant fiber, both of which are used in all of the recipes for making furniture and things like that. And you can also sell it. Now, when it comes time for you to have better, this is Kilima Village right here. When it comes time for you to have better ingredients, then you're going to want to leave Kilima Village and follow this path, okay? It's on your map. You can see it. This path goes up this way, and there's a long bridge. You're going to want to follow the path up here to the long bridge, to this little battery symbol, and go through that gate. So nobody showed me how to do this when I first started playing, and it took me a week probably before I found Bahari Bay, which is a whole nother, I don't know, county or country or state. Whatever you want to call it. There's a whole new world on the other side of this. So you just go ahead and come across the long bridge across the river. This, by the way, if you go left and right and then left and right, just up and down this area, great hunting for a beginner. Great beginner hunting here in Whispering Hills. But if you keep going straight, you will get to this gate, and all of a sudden you will disappear. And what you're doing is changing instances. You'll always get some sort of a tip on the screen that you can read while you're changing instances. And you are in Bahari Bay. Bahari Bay, number one, is the home of your mining instructor. Your mining instructor does not live in Kilima. He lives here in this house with his daughter Najuma. You will never find him sleeping in Kilima. When you need him, he's almost always over here. Every day he walks to Kilima to eat some lunch at the bar, okay, where Ashura is at the inn. But that takes him about, oh, it might be noon to 1 o'clock or noon to 2 o'clock. And that's when you can find him in Kilima. Otherwise, he's here. He is over here at all times in Bahari Bay, and this is his workshop. He will often be working behind this table. This is his daughter Najuma. She will often be building fireworks over here. You should get to know both of them. And if he is not there, you can look on the map, but straight ahead, there's a mine entrance, and he is often standing in front of the mine entrance. And the reason that I'm showing you this when I did not show you where all the other NPCs are is because the other NPCs are easy to find with your map over in Kilima, but Hodari does not live in Kilima. So you have to pretty much come over here to find him. He wants to talk to me. So I'm going to talk to him and I'm going to tell him I found the glow bugs that he needed. So I brought him the glow bugs and that completed a quest with him. I've had those glow bugs 4 or 5 days probably. I just never remember to come over here and give them to Hodari. He's one of my very favorite characters, and I wish I would remember to come over. I love reading his dialogue and his lines, and he's probably who I will end up romancing because I do enjoy him very much. But he does live over here, and this is the entrance to the Pavel mines. Okay, so that's basically the important thing about that. The only other thing that you need to know right away about Bahari Bay is that if you chop down the orange trees, you are going to get the same wood that you get in Kilima. You will get sapwood. So any trees with orange on them are just going to give you sapwood. Okay? So you can chop it down and collect it up and you get sapwood and plant fiber just like at home in Kilima. What you want to do when you come here is chop down the pine trees because this is going to give you a whole different wood and it's called heartwood. Oh, wow, that was one of those spooky secret dang choppas and I just scared it away. Oh well. Anyway, you're going to want to probably do small pine trees when you first start out if your axe isn't very good. But you want to cut down and get, 200 pieces of this. It's called heartwood. And you got 10 heartwood out of there. So 10 trees would have 100 heartwood. So at least 100. I think I got 200 the first time I came over because you don't come over here all the time. So you want to make it worth your while. If you're over here, you want to go ahead and do cedar trees, pine trees, whatever they are, and get some heartwood. Okay? The other thing is mining. When you come over here to mine, instead of copper, you can look at this and see this rock has black coming up out of it. That black is iron. So you're going to get out your pickaxe and you're going to have to hit it a whole bunch of times because it's hard as a rock. Pun intended. Anyway, when you finally get through all of that rock, you pick it up and you will get some rock. And I actually got gold ore that time, which is very rare. But that's the RNG item over here. So when you mine for iron, you will get rocks and you will get iron every time, okay? And then every 10 or 20 times, you will get a piece of gold ore. It's just a RNG thing. But that's your, just like silver is over in Kilima. And then the other kind of ore that you would mine over here is called pallium, and you won't be able to mine it until you get a fine pick. So that's 2 picks better than the one you start out with. So that'll tell you how long it's going to be before you're going to be able to mine pallium, and you might not even see any pallium until then because it's pretty rare. It can spawn anywhere that iron spawns. If you watch old videos, please look at the video. If it's 2 months old, if it's 3 months old, and it's telling you about where to find pallium, don't watch it. They have changed it. It doesn't exist anymore in those places. So it used to tell you to go to Hideaway Cove and go in a cave. It used to tell you to go to this little area right here in Bahari Bay. This is Proudhorn. It's not that way anymore. Now you just have to look for it everywhere. This is the stable in Bahari Bay, and if you choose to pay money to travel on one of these travel signs, you go up to the sign, you push F, it tells you how much it costs. And if you decide to take the sign in Kilima to bring you over here so you don't have to walk, then it'll bring you here to the Bahari Central Station stables, and that's what these are. And so the other thing that you will find in Bahari Bay that you don't find in Kilima is sweetleaf, and that's what this plant is right here. Sweetleaf is only grows over here. Mushroom or morel mushrooms like this one, they grow in Kilima but only 3 a day maybe or so. You know, they're just kind of rare. They grow like crazy over here. So if you need a whole bunch of mushrooms to eat because, you know, you're starving for some focused food and you don't have enough mushrooms when you can only find 3 or 4 over in Kilima, come over here to Bahari Bay and look at all these grassy hills in the northern half, okay? There's 2 halves to the map in Bahari. There's the northern half where we are right now, and the southern half where Hodari lives. The other thing about the northern half is that the final NPC you meet lives here. Her name is Tamala, and she's a witch, for lack of a better word. She uses herbs and tonics, bugs and worms and whatnot to, you know, make spells and potions. And she stands right here part of the evening every day. So this is a good spot to find her. Her house is beautiful. The first time you see her house, you'll fall over. Gosh, it's beautiful. But this is Tamala. And to talk to her, you have to come here because she never comes to Kilima. So Hodari comes to Kilima once a day. You might catch him there around noon. Najuma, his daughter, never comes to Kilima. And Tamala, this character, never comes to Kilima. So if you want to at least, you know, at least once every time you play, you might want to come over here and talk to Hodari, Najuma, and Tamala so that you can up your friendship with them. And that's the next tip. Every single NPC in the game has 3 quests, level 2, level 3, and level 4 in friendship. And then if they are someone you can romance, then you get 3 more quests at level 2, level 3, and level 4 in romance. So that's 6 quests that you can do for each romanceable character and 3 quests for each non-romanceable character. That's a lot. There are 24 NPCs. So that's a lot of quests. So you want to make sure if if you feel like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do today? You know, what am I going to focus on? If you've done everything else in the whole game and it's end game and you're not sure what to do, then you need to go start talking to the NPCs because they will have quests for you. So that's great to do. Okay, the other thing about the travel board that I do want to point out to you, you might want to save your pennies and never spend any money on the travel board, okay? But sometimes you're going to see the chat come up over here on your screen, and the chat might come up and people will say, oh, special wood, flow wood, flow trees, FT, flow tree, coming up at the outskirts. Please come help. And when you help each other, you both get exactly the same amount, and you can't usually cut down flow trees alone. So when a flow tree pops up and you have a good enough axe, you won't at first, but the second upgrade to your axe will allow you to. You might be in Kilima and you might want to get over here really quickly, or not in Kilima, in southern Bahari Bay, and you might want to come here really quickly. So you might go to a sign, pay 50 gold, and choose the outskirts. And this is the outskirts destination. And then that brings you here in, 10 seconds flat. So you may want to do that. Now, I would consider this upcoming little tiny tip, and then I've got to let this video go. I would kind of consider this to be a little bit of a spoiler. Okay. Oh, look there. There's one of our new animals. Aren't they crazy? They're called Muujin. And you get fur and meat, just like from a chappa. You get fur and meat from a Muujin, and they jump up and hide in the trees. And the trick is you can cut the tree down and they come out. They have to come out when the tree comes down. Okay, this little area right ahead of us is Tamala's house. And if you want to wait and see it for yourself and not on a video, then stop watching. Otherwise, the first time you come up here, look at that. Wow. I mean, it is so beautiful. And this is where Tamala lives. And a lot of times when you need her, this is where you will find her. And I will stop showing it to you so that you can discover it more on your own, because it is beautiful. But here it is on the map. So it's up here in Thorny Thicket, and you will be able to find it yourself by looking at the map. Okay, so the final thing that I wanted to show you is that you can go home. So if you happen to be out and about somewhere really far from your house and you don't mind spending, a little gold to go back to, say, Kilima Village, you can do that for 25 gold from one of the travel signs. But if you just want to go home and unload your bag, say, because you've got so much stuff, you can do that for free once every 30 minutes. There's a 30-minute cooldown. So once every 30 minutes, you can go home for free. So what you do is just push your button that brings your map up. And when you do, it says up at the top right-hand corner, return to housing plot. When you click on that, it'll take you home. Then you can't use it again for 30 minutes. But here's the trick. Say I go home and I empty my bag really quick, and then I run back down here and I go back over here to Bahari Bay because there's something else I needed to get while I'm over here. And I get it and I'm finished and it's only been 15 minutes. Ugh, crap. I'm going to have to walk all the way home. No, you don't have to. You can go to the travel sign and look at your list, and at the very top, you can go home for 10 gold. So 10 gold, that's one flower. You pick one flower and sell it, you've got 10 gold. And you can use that to go home when your home thing is not working. Okay, so I think that we have well gone through all 10 of our tips and gotten as much information as you probably ever wanted. But the last thing, number 10, that I am going to tell you is that this is a cooperative game. This is an MMO. There's other people playing at all times. And the nice thing about it is you will never, ever lose out on an item. Okay? So if you are shooting at an animal with a bow and someone else shoots also at the same time at the same animal and you miss and they hit it, you still get to go pick up the loot, the whole bag of loot. So if the loot is just 2 meat, you get 2 meat, the other guy gets 2 meat, even though he hit it and you didn't, okay? If you're both shooting at it at the same time. That's hard to get through your head, but that's the way it works. So if you're mining and the mining node has to be hit 4 times, you can hit it once, they can hit it 3 times. Doesn't matter. Vice versa. Same diff. And that mining node gives 4 iron ore. Guess what? Are you going to split it in half and each get 2? Absolutely not. No, ma'am. You get 4, he gets 4. It absolutely never splits the loot. The loot is always equal for each of you. No one can get more loot by cutting you out and leaving you out. And because you have to pay money to repair your tools, if you don't have to hit that darn thing as many times, you don't have to repair your tool as quickly. So you're talking about saving money on repairs on your tools because you can hit it twice and they can hit it twice instead of you hitting it 4 times by yourself. And you still get the exact same amount as if you had done it all by yourself. It's a cooperative game. It will always pay to cooperate. When it comes to fishing, say you cast your line out into the water and it takes at least 60 seconds before you get a bite, and it feels like 60 minutes. It feels like forever. Okay. If somebody else fishes next to you and catches a fish, you and that person both get a bonus. So for the next 15 minutes that you fish anywhere you go, you're going to catch fish twice as fast. So it's going to take less than 30 seconds to get a bite instead of 60 seconds to get a bite. That makes a huge difference in this game. And I can't promise you how many seconds it is. I'm just using that as an example. But it's much faster if you fish together. If you come up on a river and there's 5 people fishing together at the same time, get your pole out and fish. It'll go really fast. You'll catch fish really quickly, and I always feel like I get the bonus boxes quickly, and I feel like I get, the starfish quicker. It's just everything's better when you do it together. I promise. That doesn't mean that you have to. You can do it alone. You can do this whole game alone. Other than some really gigantic flow trees, which you would not be able to cut down alone. Someone will have to come help you. You can join together in official groups. So you can ask someone, hey, Joe, do you want to join a group with me? And if they say yes, then you join a group together and you can go out and do everything together and you all get the same amount of stuff. But you don't have to. If you just want to go hit a mining node that you see someone else hitting, you don't have to be in a group with that person. You don't have to know them or talk to them. They aren't going to care. If they're mining, they're not going to care. You can just run up to them and hit it, and they'll hit it, and you both get the full boat, so nobody gets mad and nobody cares. If somebody chopping a tree, run up there and get a chop in. They won't care. They'll be happy that you chopped and took some of the chopping away from them. You both still get the full boat of loot. So that's something this game did really, really well. And one final note, real money. There is no advantage to using real money in this game. There is no pay to win. This game is absolutely free, and it is free to play, and you never have to spend any real money. On the other hand, if you want to support the developers of this great game and you want to make sure they have enough money to keep putting content out like they have been every month, um, and you want to support them and you have money and you can afford to, then you can go to the clothing store and use the cash register or whatever. And you can buy some real life coins with real life money and you can purchase outfits. It's nothing but clothing. It's just clothing. It's not going to help you. It doesn't give you any advantage. It doesn't make anything better for you. It is just pretty. It just looks fun. That's it. It does nothing else for you. But if you want to do that in order to support the devs, that's great. You are more than welcome to do that, but you never have to. And you are given hundreds of choices when you think about all the colors you can make each thing and whatnot. You are given hundreds of choices of things to wear absolutely free. You can change your clothes every day. So you don't have any reason that you would have to buy any clothing. it is just totally optional, and it's just totally for fun. And if you don't watch my garden videos, you're crazy, but, I will tell you one thing, you only gain experience when you pick the fruit or the vegetable. So when you pick it, you get experience. So make sure you eat some food and have some focus in your focus bar before you pick your garden. Because if you want to level up fast, you want to have a little focus when you pick. You don't get any experience when you water or hoe or plant seeds, but you have to do it in order to grow food to pick. And when you pick it, you get the experience. Okay? So that's the last thing I'm gonna say. I swear to Connie, love you all. Listen, I'd love it if you'd subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when I drop videos and give me a comment and at least give me a like, a thumbs up. I would love that. And I hope that you'll come along and watch some of my other videos. And if you have a comment on something you'd like to see or you have a question, put it in the comments below. I will answer you. And if you have a video you'd like me to make, you let me know and I will make it. Anything I can do to help you out, okay? And I am going to get the Switch game tomorrow on my Switch, and I will try to learn how to do it on Switch so that I can give you advice in both formats, PC and Switch. Okay? So hopefully I will see you in the next one.